With the first round of results now in from the French election and with the British election literally round the corner, these two elections squashed together, both of them called suddenly, it's worth comparing the two, Macron's gamble and its fallout. In the French parliamentary elections, President Emmanuel Macron's strategic decision to call a snap election after a significant defeat in the European elections seems to have backfired as dramatically as Rishi Sunak's decision to go now rather than in the autumn or winter. Marine Le Pen's National Party has emerged victorious in the first round, securing 33% of the national popular vote, while Macron's centrist alliance is trailing at approximately 20%, and the result must be a severe blow to Macron, who had hoped at this time that doing something dramatic could strengthen his mandate. In this situation, Le Pen's party won the largest share of votes, which signals a public shift in sentiment towards the nationalist and anti-immigration policies. Again, it seems to me to be a protest rather than an appeal. It is nevertheless a sort of political earthquake. It's a major shift threatening to place the far right in a position of significant power for the first time since the Vichy regime. And Macron and the left-wing leaders called for a broad alliance in the face of the next round of votes on Sunday to prevent Le Pen from securing an absolute majority, urging candidates to withdraw in favour of more centrist or left-leaning opponents. So, targeting votes and protest votes, and the sort of targeted votes which the Lib Dems in the UK often call for. And the prospect of a Le Pen-led government has had a knock-on into the economy, with wobbles, anxiety in financial markets, fearing increased borrowing and instability. And if you compare the French situation with Rishi Sunak's strategy, Rishi Sunak, the UK Prime Minister, who carried out his own comparable political gamble, calling an early election, as both leaders are dealing with significant economic, but mostly with political problems, and both leaders seem to be failing. Both the Labour and the Conservative parties in the UK face criticism for failing to drive substantial economic growth and investment, and the lack of investment is a central issue in public dissatisfaction. I don't think it's going to be addressed by Labour, and it certainly isn't addressed by the Conservatives. The call for change is bigger than what is on offer. And that may be the parallel with Macron. Sunak's early election gamble, very much like Macron's, may be seen to be an attempt to consolidate power before economic conditions potentially worsen, or before political conditions potentially worsen. But it backfires because the public see it as a desperate move. And that's the point. Both the political campaigns appear to be a cry of desperation. In the case of Macron, that's it. In the case of Sunak, it's compounded by Sunak's own political stupidity, the D-Day situation, and the failure to act over the gambling commission scandal. It would have been bad in both cases, I think. It's significantly worse for Sunak because of his political ineptitude. Macron is a political wizard. Sunak is a boy who doesn't really know what he's doing. He is a novice. Macron is the experienced, mature political player. Sunak is not. And because they're both gambling with the same sort of thing, they're gambling with this sense of desperation, with this sense of a desire for change, and they're offering more of the same. It's loaded with hubris, and it's the stuff of Greek tragedy. And they're both going to come off badly. If Sunak's gamble fails, which it will lead to significant loss in the Conservative Party, which it will, possibly even costing Sunak his own seat in Yorkshire. And this scenario mirrors Macron's predicament of leading a weakened and potentially fragmented government as a lame duck. Now, the economic consequences of all this. France faces significant public debt and fiscal challenge, which a far-right government might exacerbate with populist spending policies. And the financial markets are sensitive to political instability, as one can see from the reaction to the potential rise of Le Pen's party. In the UK, the huge problem of not investing enough, of hindering growth by a lack of investment, hindering productivity by a lack of investment. Both major political parties will come under scrutiny for failing to address this issue adequately. And it's not so in Britain, as I think in France, the issue is about the division between reality and rhetoric, and both Macron and Sunak are high on the rhetoric, on the promises and the slogans. But after so long in power, that means nothing. People automatically look at the reality, what has actually been delivered. And in Britain, this political uncertainty, even if the Conservatives remain in power, there is no certainty of delivery. In addition, of course, in Britain, Sunak produces 5 unmemorable aims, of which, really, because of the constant repetition of people like Suella Braverman, the small boats is the only one anybody remembers, and the failure to grasp that problem, the political uncertainty in the UK, and the market volatility, the economic anxiety, should the Conservatives win, it automatically leads to change. And yes, there's uncertainty. Yes, there's likely to be volatility there too, but at least it's different. That seems to be the mood. At least it's different. I think at the moment, if a sausage were to stand for election, it would probably be elected. It would probably win. And Macron and Sunak are navigating treacherous political waters in high-stakes gambles that they could never have won at this particular moment. To do what? To redefine their own political landscapes? No, those political landscapes are being redefined. They are simply pawns in a much bigger game. They're not able to control the outcome. And this must come as a great surprise to Monsieur Macron, who has been able to manage the outcome of events very successfully over the last few years, and suddenly he can't. Suddenly it's beyond him. And managing events has been beyond Rishi Sunak for quite a while. He's done surprisingly well, but he's picking up the fallout from the huge explosion caused by Liz Truss's inadequate month in power. Both elections underscore the fragility of the French and the British political system and the French and the British economies.